We're in Rifle today, this morning. I'm just trying to get all my stuff. Get it out. I can almost have coffee because it's, oh yeah, it's 80 miles. Okay, I can have coffee. Right sun. We'll see how that's going to factor this in. I think for the first few miles, that sun's going to be an issue, but we'll see how this camera does. Anyway, I'm on the north side of Rifle. It is 8:15 a.m. September 25. There. And we're going. Now I'm going to Collbran today. Collbran is, well, probably about 40 miles away. $59 minutes, 53 miles, okay. So, yeah, we have to, but the thing is, I kind of have to double back, go back to the east to get on the road to go to Collbran. So that adds about 20 miles. That's 10 miles, whatever. I always like being in Rifle. It's fun. When I'm in Rifle, I just have a nice feeling. I've never had a bad feeling in Rifle before. I can't explain that any better than that. It tells me Fairview. Oh yeah. Over. I got someone behind me. I'm just going to let it roll right down. I didn't get around. The last thing I want. Now, see, I'm heading the right direction. So I think we're good here. 342. Yeah, this is right. This is right. What threw me is that there's a county road 311. And looking at Google Maps, 311, we start on 311, or well, actually we don't start on 311. The intersection starts at 311, but 311 turns and goes towards Glenwood Springs, which is not where we want to go. Go ahead and pull over like this kind of go too. Yeah, we're right. Good. My hope is that once we get up into the higher mountains, that our the filming will just get better and better as we go up there. But the light conditions will be better. I never thought I'd ever be worried about things like lighting conditions. And, just it's interesting. How things work. Now, I've always been interested in photography. I had a little developing kit. I mean, I love that analog photography where you developed pictures with chemicals. It's just so damn cool. I haven't had an analog camera though since someone that I know stole a Pentax. I don't even remember what Olympus. It was an Olympus 01N. Had an Olympus 01N, and I know the person who stole it back when I was a kid. And it's funny how that story worked. This is my take on it. I can't be for sure about it, but I'm pretty sure. Way back when, I had a brother-in-law who was sketchy. Very sketchy. I liked the guy, but I understand why my sister decided to divorce him. There are people that are just going to be criminals, and he was kind of that guy. He did all kinds of drugs. He impregnated lots of women. Poor raccoon. He was always getting into trouble. He wouldn't really hold a job down. At the same time, he was really smart. He was a good artist, too. He was an interesting guy. I liked him. Like I said, I could understand why my sister divorced him. Anyway, I had this other friend who used to go out with one of my other sisters. He was living with me for a short while in my mobile home at Shadow Mountain Trailer Park in Craig, Colorado. 159, space 159. Bought that trailer new. Bought that. Anyway, one of our friends in common, well, it wasn't really my friend, it was someone that this guy knew. Let's call him Tom. What Tom knew. He knew this other guy. I can't think of his name right now, but the guy was a crook. Worse than Tom. Right, worse than Tom. And he had stolen some stuff out of a car that was parked in front of my house that was my friend's car. And that was a really crappy thing to do, but I was able to get back Vernon? I think his name was Vernon. Anyway, I was able to get back some of the guy's tools. And so I did. I got one of his tool sets back from this guy. And I knew that this guy broke into this other guy's car. I was sitting out in front of my house. And so a few years passed, and the guy who got robbed, he moved out, came back to Craig. And when he did, I said, you need these tools. These came from your car. I saved them from getting stolen, but that's all I could say. And he thanked me, but it was weird. It was strange. So he thought I had stolen this stuff, but I had, like I said, I saved it for him. There you go. No good deed goes unpunished is a word. This is kind of nice. I like this valley. No good deed goes unpunished. So this guy left town a few days later, and the day that he left town, someone broke into my apartment and stole my camera gear and who knows what else. But they basically stole my camera gear. I had a really that Olympus 01N camera, and I had some nice Tamron lens. I mean, some nice stuff. It was okay. And I really like using the camera. Anyway, I tried to hunt it down, and the guy that stole it has stopped in Steamboat Springs and tried to pawn it. Anyway, and I'm thinking, yeah, I know who that was. That was that same guy, because he left. And I understood what went on. It pissed me off, but at the same time, I understand why he did it, but it still pissed me off. It's not like the worst thing in the world, but anyway, like I said, no good deed goes unpunished. So there you go. So I have no idea who owns my Olympus 01N camera. Whatever happened to it, if it got parted out or if whatever, but I'm sure the guy sold it somewhere back east, when he was back east. Probably for nothing. Someone probably got a good deal with it. Hell, I hope that whoever has it is still using it. It was a nice little deal, a nice camera bag. I mean, it was a really nice setup. And I had taken some pretty cool pictures with it. So I've been in photography, and then I kind of dropped out. After I lost that camera, like, well, screw it, I don't really even care. I really didn't even own a camera until, well, there were the throwaway cameras, right? If I ever needed a camera, I'd go get a paper camera and take pictures of someone's birthday or whatever, something, and then get those pictures developed. So anyway, that was the last night I had with photographic stuff until I got involved not that long ago, probably 2013 or 2014, I think. It might have been as late as 2015. Well, I picked up a GoPro camera, and I filmed some stuff on another channel called Old Town, my original channel actually. And that GoPro camera was a really clunky piece of junk, a 1080 camera. The software was horrible, but it was an introduction, like a reintroduction back into video. So it was photography, but I mean, very cool stuff. So that got me pulled back in to photography, into that world. And I remember a little bit about it. I remember I used to know all the stuff about it. When I was a kid, I was a smart little guy. I don't know where all that went, but I don't remember a lot of things about that stuff. However, being reacquainted with a good camera, because the camera that I'm filming right now is a Sony AX100 camcorder, and it's a good machine. It does a good job. It does much better than it is capable of much more than I am capable of actually using it. I think I want to go one more. There you divide create. Let's see if I'm right here. Oh yeah, look at that. I'm right. 2.2. Now I've looked at this route on Google Earth and not really understanding the terrain, but the terrain is really beautiful. Yeah, here we are up on the plateau on the south side of Rifle. We were looking at that just a few minutes ago. And I believe there was an old town around here called Fairview, because I can search and find an old town. There's a cemetery here. Fairview may take a turn. Anyway, I ended up getting back into photography, and I've shot over 50 videos with this camera on this channel, and I'll probably shot another 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 on the other channel. And now it didn't help that YouTube in 2019 shut my channel down to nothing. Yeah, Fairview Cemetery right there. How cool is that? A bunch of dead people. I mean, it's very neat. Well, it is a bunch of dead people, but that's what cemeteries, that's what they are, right? Anyway, if you didn't catch a glimpse of that, it was on the right side of the road. So that's Fairview Cemetery. Cool, cool. Look at this. Neat creek. Old stuff. Maxville Road, yeah, I remember that road from already. Have my foot on the brake and the gas at the same time. Interesting. Maybe that's actually the county that did that neat rock work. The erosion stuff. So I've been learning slowly how this camera works. It has a lot of features. It's really, compare that to my O1. I mean, there's no comparison. You know? It's a big old tractor. Big old farm tractor. Cool, look, a cistern. You might not have caught that little funnel-shaped concrete piece of concrete, a cistern. Okay, so we are about to turn here. Collbran. There we go, finally. Let's see if we can get that. Collbran. I know what the hell I'm talking about, y'all. Don't think I don't. But this is a back road. This is certainly what my channel is about. You know, Back Roads of Colorado is about the back roads. It's not about. It could be a dirt road, and we'll come up to a dirt road up here pretty shortly. But it doesn't have to be a dirt road. It could be just a. Well, hell, it could be an interstate, and it could be in a different state for that matter. I've done a lot of videoing in Wyoming, and it's just beautiful up there, so I like it. It's local though, you know. Maybe it isn't the true to the title of the channel, but on the other hand, it's back roads that get me in and out of Colorado or in and out of Wyoming, depending on where I'm at. Now we're going to end up, yeah, this is interesting. I think there's about maybe a 12-mile stretch of dirt road up here. And we do have some switchbacks. So we're going to be on an even more back road as we get up here. But right now, this is a beautiful little county road. The thing about this particular area, how am I done with that subject? I jump around. I just jump around subject to subject. I'll get back to what I was talking about, which I think was filming. But the thing that attracted me to kind of, pretty, a cool little church, which you absolutely did not see, but it is a pretty little church. The thing that attracted me to this area is just the roughness of it. And the realization that it's a huge, huge country between here, between Rifle and between the town south of here, which would probably be Montrose, maybe. You know, and that's probably another, well, probably 80 miles south from Rifle, maybe further. So, and the fact that this is all really hilly country. I mean, it's all, I think this is all the edge of Grand Mesa that has sloughed off. What we're looking at is just, we're driving up what used to be the top of Grand Mesa, but this is sloughed off and slid and eroded and, you know, all the way down to the Colorado River. And more than likely, the Colorado River was the thing that cut it down to begin with. Yeah. Good. How's my car doing? It's good. Camera's looking good. There's a lot of petroleum up here, a lot of gas, oil and gas industry going on up here. That is probably an oil or a gas plant or gas line, probably. Usually there's one, there's two. So this kind of terrain is beautiful. It is so neat. And you don't see this from the interstate. I have no idea, had no idea what this looked like, but I had some idea of what this looked like. It's, yeah, similar to what I'm thinking. Some more deer. I don't know if you caught those deer, they were in the shade. Now, I don't have my elevation gadget with me, but I think we're probably around 7,000, maybe a little bit more. Anyway, pretty. This is reminding me of places. We're getting up in altitude, so it's you know, we're getting up into the oak brush, and the oak brush is up there a little bit. So there'll be, I don't think we're going to get into aspens down here, but we might. We're starting to climb. The aspens, typically, you don't see too many of them below like 8,000 feet in this area. But I think I'm starting to see some aspens. Maybe that's where we're at. I don't have my elevation gadget with me, so I'm just gonna have to guess. Well, that's pretty up there. Probably need to. Oh, I have to hold back. Okay. are doing. I was doing this red box job with my old Jeep, which has got over 300,000 miles on it, and it's broken down right now. I have to put a starter in it. I'll need to do that in the next week or two. I want to have it going so in the winter I don't have to mess with it. I'm getting ready to go to a dirt road. I get this feeling. Do that. Okay. So the filming's going to be a little bouncy. I don't know how good this road is, but there's a lot of gravel in it. That's actually a pretty good thing, although it makes it a little bit rough. We had a lot of rain the day before. The day before yesterday. Looks to me like these guys got some of that rain too. Oh, coyote. You might have caught him. Looked like a big dog. Now, I did look at the map and reflect that we go from about our 7-ish, 70, whatever, so 7-ish down here into above 8,000. I think we actually get up to 9,000 at the crest of this climb. Really, but I'm just gonna kind of go slow. I'm gonna rattle the camera too much. that might not mean much. The camera's gonna bounce around anyway. But this is really nice fall colors. The Oak Creek, Oak Brush. The Oak Creek, the Oak Brush. There's, town of Oak Creek. Cottontail rabbit was running beside me for just a moment there. Cattle guard, typically bouncy. So, fun fact. Did you know that Hillary Clinton thought a cattle guard was a person that guarded cows? Oh, pretty, you guys. This is nice. I like it. What's keying me is that red. For some reason that jumps out at me pretty. But that hillside over there is beautiful. This road is pretty awful. I kind of wish the maintainer would have come up it. But that's okay. I'm in no hurry. The slower I go, the better the video is. And if you're watching my channel, you're probably not in a hurry either. And you know, you've allotted the time to watch this. So this is pretty cool. And by the way, in case I do need four-wheel drive, I do have four-wheel drive. This car is an extremely capable four-wheel drive vehicle. So I'm not too concerned about like these ruts. Somebody just came up here at the wrong time. That's pretty typical, you know. Someone probably had to get from Collbran down to their rifle. Well, they probably came downhill. They were cutting some deep ruts. Those are deep. Those are probably 3-4 inches deep. So this road was really soft. And while I'm making assumptions about stuff, well, that's pretty safe to assume. I'm thinking they probably haven't got a road up here just because it's probably a landslide. It's probably still sliding. There's probably a lot of clay in it. It's probably really unstable. Or they just ran out of money. Like, we're not gonna do that. This does make me think of south of Steamboat Springs, going down the by the Amber River. There's a little county road. I filmed that area in the fall 2 years ago. Well, last year. 23. Yeah, 23. I did no filming last fall. That's right, I was working. Actually, I've been busy. Lost my job the 18th of June, and about that time, one of our family members, one of my sister's husbands, was building a house. He was pretty ill for quite a while. And because he's a stubborn guy, he wouldn't go to the doctor, Finally had to go to the doctor. It was getting pretty bad, whatever it was. And it was bad. It was cancer. And he, you know, it was bad. This is probably as bad as it gets. What, called stage 4 or whatever. I don't know. Prostate cancer. So he had to, they were able to help him out. But he ended up getting other cancer, you know, got cancer in his neck, and had to go get some pretty invasive radiation treatments. Now, I had no idea how awful these things would be on him, and he had no idea, and my sister had no idea. Nobody had a clue. I kind of think the doctors just don't tell you how bad it's actually going to be, because it was bad. He did 6 weeks. He did 6 weeks in Glenwood Springs of treatments. And when they were done with him, he was pretty much dead. In fact, they quit doing those treatments, was it like April, I think, of this year? He could barely talk. He could barely walk. He could barely do anything. I mean, he was effectively almost dead. Well, his house was sitting there. No, their house, you know, sister and his house, he was sitting there, falling apart. And this was last year, and fall was coming, and so she was worried about the house not being weather tight, and it certainly wasn't. And I had not really paid that much attention to the house because I was busy doing my job. Well, I got fired, right? Well, I didn't get fired. Company the company dissolved. So, you know, that's how that happened. So I had time on my hands, and within a few weeks of me losing my Redbox job, I thought, well, hell, I may as well do something. And so we talked about it, and I decided I'd help them. You know, we figured out how we wanted to do everything, and we set about doing it. And so I've been working pretty much every day. This is my first day off to go drive somewhere since I started working. And I started in the middle of July. It was about a month I was off. But at the time I wondered if, well, at the time when Redbox crashed, they filed for bankruptcy. And of course, this is how it works. They file for bankruptcy and they say, well, we're going to do chapter 11, and we're going to reorganize, and we're going to get back to work, guys. So that's what they'll say. But then what happens, I mean, sometimes that happens, but with Redbox, there was no money left. They really just basically had debt. That's it. So it was, well, we went from a chapter 11 to a chapter 7 or whatever it was. I mean, they basically just shut it down, and a trustee was appointed and taking over the assets or the liabilities, whatever, at Redbox. But for a few weeks, I was thinking, well, they might actually get this figured out. They might go into chapter 13. I guess that would be the consumer bankruptcy thing, right? Where you can go in there and you pay off the stuff and you make agreements with your creditors. Well, so they didn't do that, so everyone was out of a job. But we had a few weeks where I think pretty much everybody was probably wondering, well, what's going to happen? Are we going to come back or not? So we didn't. I mean, I think in July they finally, or it may have been sooner. Oh, that's pretty, you guys. Yeah. All I can do is drive slower, which is probably helpful here. Yeah, I can't back out any further than I am. But I hope you're catching that. I hope the sun isn't jacking with us. Do that. And the thing is, if I weren't filming, I'd be bombing down this road, and it'd be a lot harder on this car, which is, in the long run, not good for the longevity of this car. So anyway, I took up that job, and I've been working there every day. And through the winter, I mean, I started out, the house needed OSB put on it. If you don't know what OSB is, it's the siding, the sheathing that actually covers up the walls. It's the interior where the first thing you would put up against the 2x, your wood frame. OSB, or there are different things now. You can get this insulated board being put up. Anyway, so there were several holes in it, and so I started patching, completing the job, that Andy had not been able to finish. And it took a while to do that. I had to move several tons of wood. Andy had been saving a lot of wood and a lot of everything else just for this job and another job he's got. And we reused a whole bunch of stuff, which was good. I mean, it was really a good thing. It's annoying to begin with, but sort of shift into the philosophy. I can get behind that, because they saved. I say we saved a huge amount of money. It's their project, but I'm pretty much fully involved in it. It's my responsibility to do my part of it anyway. But I call it my project, I guess. So when I'm thinking about buying things or about using things, I think about that. Well, we need to save money here. We need to save money there. Let's do what we can to use what we have on hand, which is what Andy was doing. Now, Andy did buy a lot of things ahead of time that came in really handy. You know, he got things when there was a really good sale, or he picked up things when it was advantageous to do so. So we already had all of the drywall, all of the siding, pretty much all of the lumber, pretty much everything. I mean, other than, you know, the really unique stuff like a heater, water heaters. They had windows, so he had all the windows. A lot of the insulation, he's got that too. Anyway, every day working. So got the siding taken care of. I had to do some internal framing and do a little bit of rebuilding here and there, and finishing inside, just framing. Did that, and then over the winter, the worst time in our environment, the worst time of the year to put siding on your house was the time that I had to put siding on that house. And so because I have a bunch of scaffolding, you know, from my prior projects, I was able to set scaffolding up, and I was able to do what I decided I'd do is I'd set the scaffolding up, and I would do everything that I needed to do to make that a finished outside of that house, so that I would never have to set another piece of scaffolding up again. That's my operating theory, and that's what I did. So I started at one side of the house, and I had to do quite a bit of work. I had to put 2 inches of foam insulation on the house. You can't very well, and I was using hard applying siding, which is cement siding, and it's pretty heavy. You can't very well just put cement siding right on the top of 2 inches of foam and screw it through the foam and expect it to hold. So I had to make some horizontal, I believe I called them struts, horizontal struts that were the same level as the exterior of the foam when I put the foam in, and that would give me an attachment point for the side, or for boards, vertical boards, that then the siding would attach to. So battens is what you call those, by the way. You batten down the hatches. So I did all that, and I went through a really, really cold winter last year. Well, it was really cold because I was out in it. Luckily, it was an average winter. We got an average amount of snow and an average amount of cold. It wasn't really big. It wasn't huge. But when I say average, we hit 30 below several times, and we may have got close to 40 below. But I don't recall ever seeing 40 below at my house. Close, but not. So it was cold. And what I would do was I had a little tiny electric heater my sister brought over there. And I had 2 or 3 pairs of gloves. So I would set my gloves in front of the heater. I'd grab one pair at a time. I'd put them on, they were warm. I'd go out, I'd put a piece of this siding up or do something for a few minutes. I'd come back in, change the gloves, put warm gloves on again, and go out. And I did that for months. For months I did that. That was and I got pretty good at it. And it seems like it would have been a real hassle, and it was probably a hassle, but the pleasure of putting warm gloves on when your hands are cold really offset any kind of hassle. I didn't mind it at all. And I got used to doing it, and I got the siding done. We got the siding done. Well, the siding got done probably midsummer for the new house. I still have some more to do, but it was a good stopping point. And so I shifted over to finishing up any of the interior framing and started doing electrical. And every day, I don't work, I only like about 10 hours a day, you know. I mean, every day I'd be over there working. It's pretty down there. That is nice. I wish you could see that view. I can't show it to you, but off to the side, looking at that hillside, very pretty. And so as far as the electrical goes, I have everything roughed in, but I don't have the individual boxes made up. I got all the wire ran, pretty much all the wire ran. A couple things I'm waiting on to do, very minor. I can do those in a couple hours. But other than that, I'm ready for my rough-in inspection. And like I said, every day. So this is my first day off. And I took this day because I thought we'd get good colors of the oak brush, you know, and possibly the aspens. And I wanted to come up and check out the north side of Grand Mesa, which is what we're doing right now. But as I was putting this idea together, I was looking at Google Earths and Google Maps, and I noticed that there were some other roads up on Grand Mesa. And I'm thinking, I've never been up there other than for the main road, the scenic byway. I think it's Highway 65. That's the only road that I've been on Grand Mesa that I can recall, that I can remember. So I started looking, and I found some other roads on Grand Mesa that I wanted to take a look at. And they worked out pretty well because they go right out of Collbran, an old town called Collbran, which is where we're heading. And then once we get out of Collbran, I'll head south. I've got a big map. I made a gigantic map here, but I also have Google Maps working pretty well for me today. Anyway, we'll go up on top of Grand Mesa, where there's a lot of interesting scenery up there. And so we should get some good aspen. That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm shooting for. You know, literally shooting. So, yeah. I do believe we're about on top of this hill. It's pretty up here, y'all. Slow down. Oh, he's doing. Okay. Yeah. He's gonna let me get around him. That's got to be a hell of a thing to take a big old trailer up here. You know, I understand the urge to take a trailer up here because you have, especially if you're hunting or you're whatever, you're going to be here a few days, you have so many conveniences in a trailer. You know, you think, well, I could just take a tent. And tents are okay, but you take a tent, you set it up, you don't have a light unless you've got one in, you don't have running water, you might have a water jug, you don't have heat. I mean, you have to provide all of that stuff. And sometimes part of the fun of camping is putting up with the hardship. You know, it maybe fun isn't the right word, but it's an interesting experience if you've never done that. However, if you've done that, been there and done that, and you could go to a spot like this and spend a few days, and when you're done, come home to a house that has running water, that has a toilet, a shower, a stove, a refrigerator, a television set, lighting, heat, air conditioning, then that's pretty cool. Let's do this. I was going to focus in on that map there, but it's pretty nasty. Decided not to. So I understand why people go through the hassle of hauling a big old trailer like that up here. But it's a pain. I mean, driving one of those big things is a pain. I hate pulling a trailer. It is not fun. I find it. I get no pleasure. So this sign says entering Grand Mesa National Forest. There's a cross over here. Somebody must be buried here, or a memorial. There's a hunting season going on. I think bow hunting. We're going this way. I just wanted to. So how cool. We are now on the other side of those mountains that we were looking at from a rifle. There's a little valley that we are in. But to our south, Grand Mesa goes up. At its highest point, at 11,300 feet. I may have said that already today. And we are probably, if we're at 9,000, let's say we're close to 9,000 here, 9,000 feet. 2,000 meters, well, about 1,800 meters maybe, that works out to be. I don't really do, for those of you that, if you can even watch my stuff in England anymore, it's getting pretty bad there censorship-wise. And the things that I say probably trip every automated video censoring device that YouTube has come up with. I talk about that a lot. I don't want to get into that right now. So it just looks to me to be about, yeah, we're flirting with 9,000 feet, maybe. Maybe not. You know, one thing about trying to figure altitude out is that as you go further south, you really have to go to a higher elevation to find similar terrain. Like if we go up to northern Canada, that would be a lot like being up at about 9,000 to 10,000 feet here in Colorado, something like that. That's the idea anyway. So we're about 100 and some. What happened here? Wow. That was a travel trailer, y'all. I think that was a travel trailer. I don't know how long ago, but look at that. It may have been a while. That looks pretty, I think it's been here a while. And it looks to me like it was driven. Yeah, those rims were just completely destroyed. If you notice that, they were folded over. I don't know who did what to that trailer, but it looks to me like it was probably a murder. The trailer being murdered. I wonder how many stories I've left dangling today. Probably a lot. Oh yeah, that's kind of nice. Now where the sun is working in our favor. That's pretty. I hope that that's showing up. you might have seen my shadowy finger on my lens. I'm talking about the photography thing. I've got a polarizing filter on this camera. And if I twist it, like I just did, it will change the character of the light. For the most part, when I use this camera, I have it set, everything is automatic. I mean, I'm driving, so I'm trying to stay on the road. Number one, not wreck. So I like the fact that the camera is taking care of itself, and actually is probably doing a better job than I can do. If I were sitting over there running the camera, it'd probably just be messing things up. Anyway, this is like a beautiful fall day here in Colorado, and you and I, unless you've seen this road before, are experiencing this road for the first time. And I sure hope that this camera is doing a good job of picking up the colors, because it is really pretty. Now, I'm not sure how long this dirt road is. I think we've gone on about 10 miles. And going slow like I am, it's dirt roads. Taking a little longer to get off. You know, if I know the road, and I don't know this road, if I know the dirt road, I can actually go pretty fast on it. And unless there are some really nasty holes in the road like this, the car will smooth out. It will, because we start floating over the top of the roughness. The slower you go, the more the individual little jogs and jags. That's a neat little place. Interesting. Yeah, the slower you go, the more these little things will affect the camera. They'll bounce you around, by the way. But going really fast on a road you don't know, and you come to a spot like that at 50 miles an hour, yeah, that's not good. I do tend to drive right over on the right side of the road. Uh-oh. How long have I done that? Okay, if I just caught that I had fully fast forwarded, or no, forwarded my camera lens. I've been holding that camera for a long time, but I've been looking at it. But I could have been doing that for like the last 10 minutes. I have to pay attention to what I'm doing. It's not the first time I've done something silly like that. It'll be the last. But I did catch it. So if for some reason I was gone and there was a section cut out, you know, now you know why. That's cool. Little remote control packer. Anyway, this is a really cool country. So for those of you that have driven down I-70 and wondered what was up this way, that's why I'm here, because that's exactly me. And I'm not disappointed at all. In fact, that's quite beautiful. What do you think? Let's see if I can. Let me do something. Let me just pay attention to what I'm doing here. Try that. Playing with that polarized filter, polarizing filter. I'll have to admit, I've had it on the camera for a couple years now, and I've never known that I actually have to turn it to make it work. Although I understand polarization, but when I bought it, the description was that it was I came away thinking that it would work equally whether it was, no matter where it was rotated. So I had to learn that no, it's basically just another polarized filter. You have to actually turn it to make it work. And that's an interesting thing to find out, because I've had some videos that no matter what I do, I wasn't able to get the color that I wanted. The color that, well, when I say the color I wanted, I'm not trying to go for any kind of funky scene or anything, or 70s look or whatever, Kodachrome feel. I'm trying to go for the color that I remember. I'd like to try to get it as accurate as I can and not overdo it and not underdo it. And it's real easy to overdo adding color to a video. It's so easy to overdo it that it's almost worth it to not even touch it and just let it be. But now I've got that little filter that if I can work it properly, I mean, every so often I can just adjust it. And it doesn't hurt, it doesn't help that I'm looking through polarized lenses at my camera. So I have to be cognizant of that. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to make the sky look as close as I can get it. I'll try to get the sky to look like what I'm seeing. Now, because I can compare my little monitor to what I'm seeing. That's the best I've got. And in the hopes that I'm actually getting a nice representation of what I'm seeing, because right now the colors, the lighting is great. My camera work, I don't know. My lighting, awesome. Well, backlit, and that's a big deal. Look at that, finally. All right. Off. I don't think you're on. Let's do that. Okay. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Well, we'll see. My goal is to try to get the prettiest view that I can get. I had somebody call me a while back. Someone who's been watching my channel and understands what I'm doing. And the guy says, boy, you sure talk a lot. And he said, I don't mind it, but you sure talk a lot. And I'm thinking, yeah, that's what I have to do, right? I mean, I feel obligated if I'm going to talk, to make a conversation. And think about that. I'm talking to myself, essentially, but I'm not. I'm talking to you. You're hearing this. I'm even talking to you. I can say that while I'm meaning myself, because one of these days when I'm watching this video, if this becomes a video, I'll be talking to me, right? Right. I have to concur with myself. So yes, I am talking a lot. I intentionally am talking a lot. I'm trying to talk a lot. And it's really stream of consciousness stuff. You know, and I'm trying to stay away from politics right now because it's a pretty sad situation. I mean, with the leftists shooting people, Charlie Kirk, another leftist just yesterday in Dallas shot at the ICE agents and ended up shooting an illegal alien, which is horribly ironic, right? Not good for but I'll probably talk about that here in a while. I don't know how I won't. But I don't really have to talk about politics, but I do sometimes think it's my duty. The thing is that I'm filming this. I could run dead air. A lot of people do. And a lot of people that run dead air, everyone, let me change that. Everybody that just runs dead air, you just hear the vehicle run. Well, that's really kind of pleasant. They have several thousand views of their videos compared to a couple hundred views of my videos. So either I am a trendsetter whose time is yet to come, or I'm just doing it wrong, doing it wrong. My theory has always been, though, that if you don't like what I'm talking about, and you're not so ideologically opposed to me that you hate me, because people do, obviously we can tell that's how people are nowadays. I have some of my family that kind of fit that, sadly. So you can mute this channel, and if the view is that interesting, you've got a cool view. You don't have to listen to me go on about stuff. It's completely up to you what you do. If I annoy you, I mean, I'm going to talk. That's what my job is, to talk in this video. That's how I've decided to set this up. You know, if I could, without running afoul of, you know, a bunch of ridiculous media laws, if I could, I would put music to these videos, because there's a lot of music I like. I'm a musician, and I like music, and I think that it would be great to pair songs up with what I'm seeing. But I can't really do that on YouTube reasonably without, I mean, just investing a huge amount of time, probably money, buying licenses, and I probably couldn't get, at the end of the day, what I wanted to get. I did put out one video with just music, and it was kind of an experiment just to see how I would like it, and how other people would like it. And it's, I don't know, it's not really doing much. The music was interesting, but I'm choosing from music that YouTube offers for free, and I certainly don't want to insult anyone whose music that I've used, but at the end of the day, you get what you pay for. Oh, that bird damn near got it. I heard his wing damn near got it. Now, yeah, like I'm not insulting it, because some of those songs are pretty cool. Some of them aren't that great, but you get what you pay for. And if I like a song so much that I bought it, then that means something. And by the way, the media laws they're really fucked, pardon my French. This is funny. YouTube, you can't put your favorite song on YouTube, typically, without getting struck down a license, violation, or if you're monetized, getting your video demonetized, and all that money goes to that songwriter. That's unfair too. I mean, a little bit of it, sure, but not the whole damn video. So, but I listen to Freeway Jim, all of his videos. I really like what he does. And I don't care if he's a leftist or on the right or what. Apolitical, doesn't matter to me. I like his talent, and he is a talented guy. He puts these videos out. He picks awesome music out. After hearing music that I've never heard before, that Freeway Jim chose for his videos when he's doing his road, his driving videos, I have bought pretty much every song that I bought in the last 10 years, maybe, has been something that I heard on a video that Freeway Jim put out, and I went and bought that song. I bought it. I actually paid cash money for that song. Several songs. A huge amount of songs. So while YouTube, I shouldn't say YouTube, I should say the recording, the RIAA, whoever controls copyright, while they're being a bunch of selfish bastards about their songs, they are missing the biggest merchandising opportunity they could ever have hoped for. That is having these songs out on YouTube on a video. Because if you put your song out on a video, especially if you got a little back, it's not the best version of that song. And more than likely, someone hears that, they're going to go, I'd kind of like to have that song. I'll get that album. There are a lot of reasons that people wouldn't copy that song from your video. But apparently the record industry believes that it doesn't matter Vega. Okay. Well, I'm not going to go to Vega. If I come up here again, I'll go to Vega. Big lake over there. Vega State Park. Maybe next time, if there's a next time. So, in my opinion, anyway, in my humble opinion, the recording industry is missing out on the biggest merchandising bonanza they've ever had. And that is people putting their songs they like out on videos, which gets exposure to these songs, which people will then, if they like, they'll buy. That's been my experience. There's always going to be somebody who's going to steal or going to record, whatever. There's always going to be someone out there that will do that. They'll do that no matter what. But I'm saying the vast majority of people will buy the song. You know, they'll go to Amazon or to Apple or Spotify, wherever you go buy your songs, and they'll buy that song if it's available. Anyway, that's my theory, and I think it's a reasonable theory. So we're dropping down off this really large mesa. We're just about into Collbran. 5 miles into Collbran. So. Beautiful view. We're getting the western Colorado view coming back, which is a mesa country. In a way, it's ironic that the mountain that we can see are little mountains over to the right of us. To the left of us, where the really big mountain is, Mesa Mountain, we can't see that. We can see near mountains because we're going down a valley. Oh yes, right there. Oh. I got a guy coming up behind me. I'll speed up a little bit. Now, apparently the speed limit is 40 here. That's what my Google was telling me. This road feels like about a 50 to 55 mile an hour road. And I haven't been paying attention to road signs. My view's been either closer in or further out. Oh, look at that. Speed limit 40. So we can call right 3.5 miles. Pleasant drive, rough dirt road, but other than that, nice pleasant drive. And there's nobody going 40 here. How fast am I going? Never tell. Beautiful. Look at this valley we're dropping down into. And there's the edge of Grand Mesa. That's very Grand Mesa looking. That edge, which is a different edge than what you see when you're looking at it from the south, looks just like that. It's just the erosion, you know, the way that that type of country erodes. Makes it look that way. It's very neat, though, to see that. I've been really curious about Collbran. I think I may have been here a long time ago. I really like what I'm seeing. I like that big plain that's just sloping up towards, you know, Grand Mesa. Very pretty. In case you're wondering, I have a digital speedometer. It was an old Sony phone of mine. It's now my speedometer mile meter that I'm using. I have my regular phone, which right now I'm using as a hotspot, and when I'm not recording, I'll play music on it. And I've got my old work phone, which nobody ever wanted back. I mean, they just went bankrupt and we left all their junk. So the old phone is being hotspotted to my phone. It doesn't have a SIM card in it anymore. Pretty little town with me. This is kind of a, well, I like to compare towns to other towns. This kind of reminds me of Oak Creek, coming into Oak Creek. So, let's see what we got going on here. Here. Gas will get. I'm actually not too concerned about gas, but I wouldn't mind finding a restroom. And a half is where I want to go. But first, yes, 15 and a half. I want, yeah. But first, I like to find a restroom. Now, I don't know what they might have here, but I assume they have a gas station here. Oh, yeah. And I passed one gas station, so I'm going to go back to it. Chicken farm eggs. All right. This looks like it could be a gas station. Some little stuff going on there. Or if not a gas station, some sort of something. Oh, there we go. Plateau City. This isn't that bad. All right, y'all, I'm gonna put some gas in this car. So we'll see you later.